Fourth grade magnet, and good morning, Mrs. Manley. Thank you for coming in today. This is Module 3, Week 7. We're starting with Monday, of course, February 27th, 2017. Take a look at our slide for the morning activity. And at 8:30, you're going to begin, just like we always do. After the bell rings and announcements take place, you need to make sure that you find your seats and you can begin working on the new word study. These videos should be available, and that's what you're doing today. Pay close attention to those different categories and everything. If you need to view the video before doing your pre-assessment in your category sort, that's okay. Whatever you need to help you out with that. So work on that, and then at about 8:30, Mrs. Manley, go ahead and play Toward the States. That was the student voice or student choice for our morning song and video. You guys know that you are allowed to dance around the room. You just have to make sure that you are singing the word to the song. After that song has ended, go ahead and watch the Motivation Monday video. We have a Kid President video. During that time, you may be updating your goals. However, once that video is over, then that is when you will be updating your goals for the week. We're looking at our weekly goals. From that point, you may go back to your word study activity and finish what you didn't. And after that, you may read independently. So this is all kind of free time to make sure you have all of those activities completed prior to walking laps. And you guys know the drill. At 8:55, go ahead and walk your laps, and then you'll be back in by 9:05 when you start your next part of the activity. So after you have walked your laps and you come back in, we're presenting with visual aids. This is going to be a multiple day activity, but you're going to start it today with your groups. I can use my critical thinking skills to determine how visual aids extend to the meaning of a text, and my critical thinking skills to add visual aids to a presentation. You're going to work in groups of let's say 3 to 4. So groups of 3 to 4 of your choice. You're going to read the text, Maryland Adventure, page 148 to 153. Read and take notes for the purpose of creating a presentation. Now, you might notice that some of those pages you have already read, and that is quite all right. We're going to use that information again to help us in our presentation. The presentations are going to be created in Keynote with a focus on the different information presented. Within your Keynote presentation, you must include a title slide. This is going to be a statement or an introduction about what you're going to be explaining to your audience. Remember, we do not want to use paragraphs in our presentations. And tomorrow, we'll discuss different success criteria and what that might look like to ensure that we don't use paragraphs. On your next page, you're going to include information on page 151. You'll notice that is its chart, visual representation itself. So you're going to think of a way that you want to share that information with your audience when you do your presentation. Finally, we're going to look at answering the 4 questions on page 153. Those are basically 4 questions that each question should have its own slide. On those slides, you're going to have a visual representation. It could be a picture, it can be a chart, it can be a drawing that you've done. I would really like to see those pictures that you've done or charts that you've created, along with your statements that go along with it. Again, we do not want to use paragraphs. We're not going to be reading directly from the slides, but we will use the slides to help us in our presentation. And then eventually we'll have our conclusion slide with the statement that goes along with it. This information is working on standard RI 47 with the essential question of how do the visual aids support and extend the meaning of the text that I'm reading. So this is a great discussion point to talk about throughout. So you're going to be doing this up until encore time. Tomorrow we'll kind of pick up with this and we'll create our success criteria to get these completed. After Encore and you return, I'm going to let you work on your artful editorials again. You should be finishing up with that, and then we're going to add some specifics along this week. I'm sure Mrs. Manley would be happy to read a couple of those, and you guys explain to her what we're focusing on, and maybe she has some different experience with editorials that she can explain to you. Then after you guys go to lunch and obviously recess, you're going to come back in and we're going to continue with that Your Science Hour learning activity that you guys determined what would be a very cool way to learn about animals and be creative. Great job, David, with coming up with this. I can use my executive thinking skills to read a scientific text and summarize the main ideas using key details. So we first looked at the scientific phenomenon. Then we decided that we were going to construct a model. If you need to go to that document to read over, that's available to you. Remember, you were split up into 3 groups of 7 in SmartAmp. And then from that point, you guys actually split into groups that you wanted to work with. And from there, we decided we wanted to do a hybrid animals activity. And I did my part, and I kind of put it together for you. Hybrid animals, it's a Google Classroom task. I would like you to go over it together and then take time to begin it with your group. So if I look at this link, it takes me to the document. It's written in the GRASPS model. Your goal is to design, construct, and explain a hybrid animal using the characteristics of 3 animal species that live in a habitat you have designed at the Baltimore Zoo. I'll let you guys read more about the situation and everything, but here's your 3. You're going to pick 3 species from here. You're going to pick 1 main habitat from here, and you're going to basically design your own habitat and design your own animal using the different species the structure of the species combined to create the ultimate species to live in the designated habitat you have designed. You need to make sure that you research from 3 or more sources for this, maybe finding information from each animal whenever you kind of design your animal together. You're going to have a 2D drawing with labels, major internal and external structures for life, a 3D model, that's what we're going to do in Tinkercad. You're going to do a keynote presentation and a scale model of a zoo exhibit that you are going to design. That was kind of some of your ideas as well, so that's excellent. Again, success criteria for the presentation and everything we will go through tomorrow. I just want you to get started working with your group and taking a look at different possibilities in creating your animal. Then at 1:45 we have PE integration. Now I discussed with Miss Weddles an activity that Mr. D's class did that they really enjoyed. That would be something that I would really like to do that. However, if she's kind of hoping for some more information or input for that, we can do anything measurement and data related. For example, you guys can take down your meter sticks and collect some data doing things like a shot put throw, measuring the distance that has gone. We can measure the distance in centimeters. I want us to stick to the metric system. That's kind of what I want to stick through the metric system with this. We can also do an activity such as shooting free throws and measuring how many we make out of 10. Basically, anything that requires you to measure and collect data works for me. So that should be a lot of fun with Miss Weddles. Then for homework, this is critical. For homework, for math, you need to measure the floor plan of your bedroom using inches and feet. We're using inches and feet, so custom measurement. You may take home any of the rulers that you need to. Remember, the clear plastic flip ones are in your desk, or the plastic square ones. You may take that home as well. You're going to use those drawings, those floor plans for tech integration tomorrow. And in that tech integration, we're going to use Tinkercad and kind of design your bedroom in Tinkercad. So I'm going to give you an additional time for that. You can have up to 20 minutes. You are reading in LightSail for about 20 minutes as well. I hope you all have a great day. I look forward to hearing good notes from everything that you've completed. Mrs. Manley, thank you again for coming in to hang out with us today, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day.